guys, it's C with Altcoin Traders, and today is Monday the 16th around 9:30 in the morning Eastern Coast time, and we're going to go over some of these charts just to kind of get a perspective of where Bitcoin and a bunch of the other leaders are headed. As this weekend, a lot of things were kind of up and have been up since Thursday, and just of this morning have slightly pulled down below the 8,000 mark amongst other altcoins, pulling back slightly, maybe for taking profits or retesting some breakout points. So let's go ahead and get into the charts. The first one I pulled up is your big boy, your Bitcoin daily chart, and right now it is trading at $7,929, give or take. And I'm gonna zoom in here. As you can see, the MACD is still has crossed over and still traveling up, but we did break down that 8,000 mark, and there was support around 8,000 to 8,050, which we tested a couple times, and we popped through, hit the top of the bully, and now we are coming back on this daily bar. So it was up to about 8,360, let's see, 8,400. And since then, it's pulled back significantly. And right now, just so you know where we're at, the ATR trailing stop, which is one of the indicators I use, is showing a bullish cross. So right now it has crossed over and is bullish, even though it is pulling back. It could come back as far as the $7,393 level, and even throw a wick down in here around the 7,300 level. If it breaks that, then we might have to relook at our charts for a bearish take. If I do pull this trend line out a little bit on Bitcoin from the lows around 6,500, which me personally, I believe these are the lows, then it could come and test this trend line, which could even go down as far as 6,800 to 6,000 to the 7,000 level, which would make sense if it really did want to come down to scare people and actually wash out people that went long. So that is a big possibility. I don't think it'll get that far personally, but it definitely well could. If we look a little bit deeper, we notice this left shoulder. This could be considered a head right here. So left shoulder and a big head. So we might be coming down something like here to test the ATR, and this also significant uptrend line right around the 7,300 level, and then probably bounce up from there and maybe consolidate a little bit. Also putting in a right inverse head and shoulders shoulder right there, and then we could see a significant move, a blast higher, which would pull all the alts up a little higher and probably test this $9,100 level, and also the top of this blue trend line. If I scroll back just so you can see where it's at, it would also coincide with that. If it does test that, maybe it comes back down one more time, consolidates, and then breaks up. So those are all possibilities for Bitcoin. Even though it is pulling back, it is still bullish. We did get some volume in this nice line a few days ago. I believe it was on Thursday, and then this weekend was just kind of cruising up slowly but surely. So bulls want to see it tag this line around the 7.3 and bounce, maybe consolidate, either making a bull flag in here and then breaking up. Eventually, I believe sometime either later this week or by the weekend, we'll see the 9,000 level, or even higher. If it does get some momentum and really wants to pop, then that 9,000 level will be breached, and we could see higher prices. It could go and test that 9,000 level, which would be a 1 test, a 2 test, and then the 3rd test would probably break up. So we could see it consolidate after that 9,000 level too. Maybe some big guys like has been in the media, like Soros or some other hedge fund. Big boys are, buying this accumulation phase. So in my opinion, that's 65, 6,600. I talked about the 666 being the low. So as of now, that is the low. Will it get lower? I'm not sure. That 6,500 would have to be breached, and then the 6,000 would have to be breached for lower prices all the way down to the 5,000, and then the 3,333, which is another significant number that stocks and coins like to trade off of, that I've known in my day of trading. So bulls, definitely, we're just looking at a little pullback in the meantime. So all altcoins should really follow suit, and then we'll go and test that 9,000 in the coming days, in my opinion. So let's see if that plays out. Let's go ahead and check out Litecoin and ETH. So Litecoin's right here. So let's go test this. This definitely has been a laggard. It's trading at 125. We've seen it as high as 135. I've called out that number several times in the past. We definitely hit it. We actually went to 136. But all it was this retest of this. Let me just scroll in so you could see it a little better. I did have an arrow at this trend line from way back when, so we did go right up to it and test. We were in this position. It was consolidating and it wasn't breaking lower, so we took a position in it. We are still in this from 114. Right now, it is just retesting. It looks like 124 is support. If it does want to break down more, we could draw this trend line out, and it could go as far as 114 again. If it does break that level, then obviously 110 and 100, and then possibly we'll have to look at a little lower. I do think it breaks up from here. Last time we saw, excuse me for these ads, last time, let's look at the MACD. I believe the MACD is still bullish crossover as it is right now. You could see that it's crossed over right here, and the volume is kind of just staying the same. On here, it's kind of going low from this volume spike. So right now could be consolidating. It's pulling back from that 135. So it's kind of chopping in a 10-point range, give or take. And bears want to see it go below the 124, 123 level. And bulls want to see it get above that 135. I think the third test of this will shoot it up. Usually it's the third test. So here's one, here's two. This could still be considered a two, or like a double top check and then pop back. So we could go lower depending on how far Bitcoin wants to go as they follow suit in a way. But in my opinion, it'll probably chop around these levels and needs to get out of this downtrend wedge that's also considered a bull wedge. So it needs to break up. And last time the MACD crossed on the daily was back here, and let's see, it chopped a bunch. So it had crossed up. See how it's chopping right here through a couple bars. It broke down. People might have thought it was going to go back retest, just like we are in now. So in my opinion, we're going to see a nice spike in the coming days. I'm not sure how long they're going to chop it, depending on who's accumulating or whatnot. But we could see this was let's see, from 160, let's say, all the way to let's say 220, even though it was more. I mean, you're looking at a 60 to a 70 point 1 day spike up. So I'm thinking once this MACD pushes a little bit, we could see something similar to that. So maybe it'll break us out of this channel and back up over this red line support that was the major support. So maybe we chop all the way to the 22nd. That's where it says right here, the 21st, 22nd, or sooner, or a little later, depending if it wants to break down to this a little bit, to the 117. But we should see some sort of squeeze bar, as if you look closely, this midline bully is starting to curve. If it chops a little bit, this midline bully could actually start to cross, and then we'd like to see it hit maybe excuse that line right there. It all moved. Let me just redraw it so you understand what I see. It might come down like that, hit the bully line, bounce up, hit the bully, and then we might see a nice candle getting us over this line of support right here, and then trading above that, maybe around the 180, I want to say. Or this spike could just hit its head, as that line is a major resistance point. So it could hit its head around the 170, but from 125 to 130, I mean, 180 would probably be 180 to 190 would be a good range, and we could also go and test this high right here at the 176 level, which would make sense. Let me just raise that. I'm all over the place. Sorry, guys. So right about there. So that could coincide and then possibly make a consolidation flag, depending on what the overall coin market is doing with Bitcoin. But I have a feeling that we're going to see a spike like that in the coming days, and we're in for a real treat. So look for Litecoin to eventually bust out of that 134 and see a real nice spike. It's either going to hit its head as resistance on this uptrend line around the 170, or it's going to break up through, which I'm really taking in consideration so we could get back in this uptrend phase. And that would be around 177 and possibly a little higher, and then consolidate. And then maybe the third time it might break down a little bit, and then the third time would go and test that 200 or higher. Also, too, with this spike up, it would definitely pull this bully up, and all the moving averages kind of up, so it could trade off the, if that bully is starting to curve up, then it could trade off it and start to spike higher, and then get up to that 237 range, which would knock out some shorts. So those are levels, in my opinion, that Litecoin could trade off of. I'm going to try to make this a little short. Let's go to ETH and just check out what ETH is doing. So you can see right away that the ATR is green, and it crossed into a bullish ATR. It might want to come back and test this 458. It could go and test the bully around 425. And if it wants to get really devious, it could go back down to the 400 to 390 level. It is bullish right now. I don't have all these lines drawn out. Let me just extend them as I'm messing up the lines. My computer is acting kind of shady today. So let me just adjust that. So we did hit some resistance level on that one. Let me just draw these real quick for you guys. I haven't been trading ETH for a while. I've been in a lot of the altcoins other than ETH, but I do watch this one as it is a leader. And as of right now, it did make a small base down here at the 380. We did call that out in the room. I believe some of our guys took some positions in that. But anyways, it did go and test this line, and as you can see, it kind of used it as resistance. It broke it, and it kind of went back and is retesting on this daily time frame. We probably will come down to this 350 area, 450 area for people to accumulate. And depending on what Bitcoin wants to do, as that's kind of our market breadth for the coin caps per se. MACD is still trading bullish. I would like to see this come back down, test, and then it possibly will get a nice spike up to the 570 level and probably go a little higher, like 590, and maybe test this 160, which if it does chop for a couple days, it might coincide with this uptrend line around $600. So we'll look for that to play out. I think it's going to test at $600, and if we're real lucky, we could go back and test this upper trend line around 700 eventually, probably in the coming days to weeks. So look for that. If it wants to break down, it would have to break this red trend line down here at 388 and head lower. This could also be a dead cat bounce. I'm not saying that it is, but I don't think it is. I'm just saying that we don't. You really can't trust these volatile coins. There's no trust in them as of now, as we've been in a heavy downtrend. And just when you think the downtrend is over, it usually comes back to bite you in the ass and works its way lower. I definitely am not saying that that's the case right now. I think we've been in a pretty rapid downtrend for some time now, and we definitely need to work a little ways up, a little higher. So it just, people are just taking profits right now. We came out of the bully, and we're just testing this. If it can stay above the midline bully, as you can see, the bully is starting to turn over, which is a good indication of a near-term bullish run. So, we got a little ahead of ourselves right here, hit some resistance, we'll come down, and hopefully this bully turns up and starts, we could trade off it like that, and stay above the bully. We could shoot a wick out under the bully. I know this is a lot of information, guys, that I say, but please trust in my skill. I've been doing this for a long time, and a lot of times, more than ever, they play out to perfection of what I say. So look for these. I'm not predicting that it's going to go lower or higher. I'm just showing you levels that you need to trade off of and to watch in your everyday trading, and make your own decisions and your own educational awareness of where we are headed in these coming days. This is kind of a roadmap to where it will trade. So use these trend lines and support and resistance lines that I show you and I have drawn out. So obviously this is just kind of pulling back as it did hit this resistance, but it does need to see that 570, 600, and then possibly higher around the 710, depending how far it wants to chop. If this MACD starts to keep accumulating and keep pulling over, then we are going to see higher prices, especially if this bully is turning over. I do believe this is the start of a near-term bullish run, and that's what I feel for ETH as this time is approaching. Okay, let's take a look at another one, as I do take a lot of time at this. EOS. EOS has been a big mover for us. I'm in this currently, and I do like this one for higher prices. You can definitely see the wicks on the daily. We went up and tested that $10 that we talked about. We didn't think it would get that high so fast, so we did take a little bit off, and we are looking to add at this trend line if it can reach the $6.55 level. It could consolidate right here around the $8 level, and consolidate all the way to the 5th of May. So it could just kind of chop around here for another 14 to 20 days before it makes its move up. It will retest these highs again. So if it retests and fails, then we'll have to really go back over the charts to see if it wants to break down and move higher. Excuse me. I do believe it is going to go higher. This is the second test right here of the $10 range. Here's the first. Here's the second. If I scroll in on EOS, you can kind of see a cup developing right here. It's kind of a crappy cup that I just drew, but as you can see, it's kind of making a handle. So if it can hold this trend line, we could see higher prices. We could go see it break out this time of that $10 mark. There was some nice volume coming in with this bar, so we could see the next time it tests this $10 level, we could see a nice spike up to at least the $11.70 level, which is also coinciding with that Fibonacci line. As you can see, I have the Fibonacci lines right there. But that would be the 50% Fibonacci retracement, which is a key level for a lot of coins, a lot of stocks to go and retest. So, and that's played out at $11.66. So we'll say $11.70 in the near term. And that would be a nice little breakout for this coin. The MACD, I believe, is still traveling up with no, I don't believe it's looking down at all. Let me just extend it. It's kind of slightly, it's kind of doing this, so it's just consolidating. So maybe it's making its second flag, kind of like this one. As you can see, let me just scroll in a little bit. So exactly what I'm thinking is going to happen is it's just going to make another flag just like it did here, consolidated forever. And it made a little fake break, consolidated longer, and then the volume came in and took it pretty high. That was a nice move. You could check the Instagram. We called it out. We rode that for a nice amount. We're still in a lot. We're looking for the pullback, but we are also in this long term. We do like this as a showcase coin for the time going into next year. So this is one of our big boys that we hold, but it is making a cup. If it comes down here, you could also say that it's making a left shoulder, a head. I mean, it's looking pretty exciting. I hope it comes down and makes this consolidation flag type left shoulder. And then we could see even a big move higher. First level would be that 50% fib. This would get the bully starting to turn in moving averages. As you can see, the midline bully is already turning over. It's riding right here, so it might just test that bully and then continue higher. This coin to me has been kind of a leader. When Bitcoin was down at the 6,500, this thing just was not going down. It made its move and it was just consolidating. This is why I like it. I feel this is a very strong coin, and I do see higher prices short term and long term for this coin, and that's why we are stacked up. If it does want to go down lower, then it would have to break this trend line, and that's why we take some off when we see these top resistance lines. We knew it was going to come to this 10 eventually. These were the first lines. We didn't think it would happen so quick, but in coin world, these things pop and these things drop. So the volatility is just tremendous, and we need to take advantage of it as traders, as long-term holders, and so-called, war traders. So, just you got to look at these charts and just make your own due diligence. But this chart is looking really good as of right now, and we are holding strong, and we will add, like I said, down at this trend line if we can get that low. Hopefully we get some sort of pullback to retest that breakout right there, and that would kind of coincide with that $6.70 level. So we're looking at that. This other red line, as I'm looking, let me just grab it real quick. This is a major trend line right here. Let me just extend this out. So we might just go down here, which would also coincide with this bully right around the 6.70. So look to add around there. That's where I'm going to be looking. So check that level out. Do your own due diligence. Let's go on to the next one. Let's do let's do ADA. We are in this from the bottom. We've called this out in Instagram. We've got this all over other charts. We're telling you this is definitely a sleeper. It was a sleeper from where we grabbed it. The head guy is the guy that worked over at ETH. If you watch some of their YouTube videos and him talking about what they're trying to do with this coin, I mean, this company is on point, and they're going to be the next level, in my opinion. I don't know if it's going to get as high as Bitcoin or Litecoin or any of the big dogs as the market cap per se, but it's a top coin, and it's definitely has room to grow. We are definitely oversold. These prices are in my opinion, are so cheap. 23 cents. I mean, I couldn't even believe it went down to the 23 cents level. I was adding right here at this, thinking this was a bottom around the 20 cent level, and then I called it out down here. We saw this big tail. Look at that tail. It just it hit the support floor almost on point. We got it under this level of 13 cents. We just stocked up, and then it just exploded. I mean, we were watching Bitcoin and all the others, and it just started to make moves. We weren't expecting it, though, to come back down this low, but it did. It consolidated. Obviously, it wanted to let more people in. Maybe some big dogs were buying like crazy too. But right now we are over this middle bully. The bully's starting to curve up. You know, we're testing this resistance level, and we're over the resistance level. We're at 23 cents. I mean, this is still low compared to like XLM. And XLM is at 27 cents. I just can't believe that this is still under the levels of XLM. So, in my opinion, we're going to see a nice sprack here in the coming days. I know today I woke up and it was at 25 cents. So, it got almost to 26 cents this morning. This could come back down. As I've said in other videos, this could be the second retest. So, here's one. Comes down, chops. Here's two. So it could come down and hit this level, chop. And then the third one would be an explosion. Usually number two kind of pops over that resistance level and then comes back down and does something like this. Comes back down and then chops and then pops. So, you know, we could go and see that, and then it'll head. We'll see an explosion probably to 42 cents, which is a retest of this level, which would be the second retest, and then would do the same thing again. So look for it in the coming days to, if it wants to pop right here, it could chop above this resistance level and then eventually, you know, work its way up slowly. Or it could come back down and then pop for the third time and then head way higher to that 42 cents level, which I would be thrilled. I would love to see it back at that 42 cents level, which I feel at this point in time in the year, before it makes its big move at the end of the year, I think this 42 cents level should be, you know, watched. I think that's where it should be. You know, between 42 cents and $1, it should be trading between right now. So at 23 cents, yes, it's higher from where we bought it from at the bottom, okay, which I believe is the bottom. I don't think it's going to go any lower than what we saw. I don't think it'll ever see those low prices ever again. I think 23 cents is still a great price. Do I think it could go a little bit lower? Yes. But 23 cents is still a great accumulation level. It did hit this ATR, so we are very bullish in ADA Cardano, and I really like this one. So check it out. Check it out for higher prices, and watch that 42 cent to 43 cent level in the coming days. And just like this one, it'll probably shoot ahead higher than that. So in my opinion, it might even go 45 to 50 cent level. So, and then come back down and consolidate and then break higher. You know, so watch those levels in the coming days. If Bitcoin really blasts in the next few days to, you know, next couple of weeks, you're going to see Cardano at 42 cents or higher. So it could be even a double from here. And the people that got it lower are going to be doing really nicely going into the third quarter of the year. So check that out, and I'm all about ADA. So let's check out XRP. We know we got some XRP heads up in here. I hold a bunch from 50 cent level. It just has been. It did have this nice pop, and we are above the bully. We haven't been above the bully trading since back here at the dollar range when it had its nice pop in. Everybody did believe that it was headed higher, but then it got into another downtrend, consolidation phase, and then it broke this support right here. You can see that big red candle broke support, and it's just been kind of, you know, death defying right here. We called that it could have went way down lower. It could have went down and tested the breakout level around that 28 cents all the way down here, 30 cents, 28 cents, but it never did that. It stopped right here, So do we go lower? We just hit our head on resistance on this trend line. You could see it right there. This was that wedge, that bull wedge slash bear channel. As you can see on the daily, we did break that major line support. That's where that red candle was. So I would like to see XRP get away from this resistance right here. It needs to trade above that 70 cents level and consolidate. And the next resistance would be up there around the 95 to $1. So maybe if Bitcoin and Litecoin take that nice pop, that $50 move in one day, then this will probably sprack up to about the dollar level, and then you'll see some, you know, FOMO around the 85-cent level that'll get it to the dollar level, which will also hit its head on the resistance unless it pops through and then consolidates above this this uptrend line, which would be really nice. We still are in an uptrend. As you can see, I just moved the trend line. It's playing fidgety with me right here. I can't really get it to. You see where I'm trying to go with it. I'm just trying to bring it down, but there we go. Okay, so XRP could come back down to the 50-cent level, to the 51-cent level, depending how bad it wants to act. As you can see, the ATR support is around the 54-cent level, so it could put a tail right around this 52 cents level, and it would also retest the breakout. This bully is definitely turning up, as you can see right here. So we need to see it go up, and we need to see XRP make its move up higher. I definitely think it could break out in the next coming days. But we'll have to see what Bitcoin does. Like I've been saying for all of them, MACD is crossed. Last time it did MACD crossed, it did this nice move. So maybe we see it sprack tomorrow or the next day, or even possibly later today. We are having, you know, what you call a pullback in this as of right now. That candle's looking pretty nasty, but it hasn't broken yesterday's low of 63 cents. So if it does that, then it could look lower. But there's some red candles in this uptrend, so you know, look for it to maybe make its move higher. So we'll just have to you know, grasp it and see where it wants to head in the coming days. But it's still in this consolidation channel, not really doing too much. It did have its little move from the bottom of the consolidation channel, so we'll see what it wants to do in the coming days. So watch those levels, and we'll move on to the next one. Let's do Iota. This has been a great performer in my portfolio, and I'm sure yours. If you were managed to take advantage of those under the dollar levels, look at that. I never thought it would get under $1. I really did not. And I scooped up a ton, and I was lucky that I scooped up a ton. I actually had bought in some under the $1.50 going, wow, I can't believe Iota's at $1.50. It was trading at $5. And I remember back when I was like, I bought a few. I started a position around $2.50 because I couldn't believe that it was under $3. Like this is before I really realized how volatile these coins really were, and that I got caught in a little bear trend. But I'm far fetched into a nice bullish position, and I'm way up on Iota as of now. I took advantage of the dollar. I called it out on Stock Twits. Yo, buy this under $1. You know, it actually gave you two chances, I think. I think right here, and then popped up, and then all right here for like 5 or 6 days, and then just shoot it up, hit this resistance of $1.50. We said it was going to the $1.50, and it actually went further, overshot my mark by a mile, went all the way to $1.80. So now we have the ATR support at $1.25. Will we see $1 again? I really don't think so, but I'm just not going to say that we won't, because these coins are crazy. They are super crazy. So just be aware that it could see $1. I don't think it will. Next Next resistance is this $2 mark, which makes sense. $2, every round print number. So look for that $2. And our high right here is around 230. So maybe we get a retest of this 230. So there's the 230 right there. So if we want to retest this resistance, let's say we're going to hit that 250 because a lot of times it overshoots. So if we get some built up momentum right here, we could definitely see that $2, 250, 240, somewhere over this $2.30. So I'll say 20 cents over, since right here it hit the resistance at 250 and it went about 20, 25 cents over that. So that was one. This is two. This is one. This would be two. But what I think is going to happen for Iota is it could come back down, consolidate a little, and then the third time break out. Usually it's the third time that'll take you up higher to the next level of resistance, and then it'll shoot up because the second time usually goes through the resistance and drags it, stops out the shorts that have their stops there, and it also brings in the chasers up in here. So that's why it likes to overshoot on that second time, and then we'll see a little pullback consolidation, which it might even get a little bit more pullback and retest that resistance right here at 174. This is definitely what could happen in the coming days. So be aware, this is a daily chart, so it could take all the way to June 1st for this all to play out, and then it could pop out higher. So, look for that to play out, which eventually, I know I'm a little ahead of myself, but here would be a right shoulder. This could be considered the head, and then a left shoulder with a pop, back to higher prices to retest these highs. So look for that in Iota in the coming days. If we do want to just get some crazy news and this spikes up, maybe it does. Maybe it goes. Maybe we hit higher. I mean, these coins are crazy, right? So maybe instead of retesting this resistance, it just blows through it. But I do see it testing that $2 resistance. I do see a little bit of pullback for the next couple days or so, and some chop. But definitely looking for it to make its moves in the coming days. Okay, I'm going to go to a couple skeptical plays right here. Let's see. Let's do XVG. XVG just hit resistance around this 8 cents. I know there's news coming out. People think this is going to $100 tomorrow with some crazy partnership. I mean, just so you know, if you're in this looking for a huge gain, the news will probably get sold off. So whatever news comes out, they'll probably sell this. And it would make sense for it to come back down and retest this 5 or 6 cent level before working its way higher. I do think it could get back to the highs of 30 cents or even higher by the end of the year. I don't see it hitting $1 with this news, but I don't know the news. If it's something like Amazon, like people are saying, then possibly. But in my opinion, I do not think it's going to hit $1 in one day. I think it's sell the news. I think it's made its high, and it's kind of a sell the news right now at 10 cents. I mean, that was a nice run up for anybody that bought these lows. I mean, you obviously tripled your money from the 3 cent, 2 cent lows. So congratulations on that. It could come down and make, a lot of these are kind of making a left shoulder head and a right shoulder. So, look for that. There's a head. I know my lines are awful today. But look for those. Look for it to come back down, at least test this ATR. One good thing is this bully is definitely pointing up. So could it go higher? Yes, it could come and test this 12 cents, 15 cents. The Fibonacci 50-cent retracement's at 16 cents. So maybe we head there. Maybe that's where it wants to take us for the news. I know news is due out in a couple days. I think the 16th or 17th, so either today or tomorrow. Um, but yeah, so far, I mean, it had a nice run. So you got to give Verge some credit. I hold some of this for long term. I'm not really messing around unless it hits $1 or higher. If it goes to a zero, I'm okay with my position going to a zero. I don't think it will, but who knows? So um, that's Verge, and it definitely needs to get over these resistance levels of the 9 cents and 10 cents level to work its way up to the 12 cents. I do believe in their privacy coin. MACD, let's see what the hold on real quick. Let's just see if the MACD is starting to curl down. It's starting to curl down, so I think this is where people are going to start to take their profits, which they already are with this little pullback that Bitcoin's doing. And that'll be that. So, could just be making an inverse head and shoulders with, momentum to bring it up to 13 to the 50% at 15, 16 cents. So look for that to happen. As you can see, I got some numbers up here. If Verge did a percentage, like if it got to its high in June of 30 cents and made a move, a lot of times these coins like to mimic their moves. What I did right here is you see the success. It made a gain last year of 3,000% in 11 days, or whatnot. But it made 3,000% from whatever it was, a penny to 30 cents, 28 cents, 30 cents. If it did that from the high of 30 cents, I mean, you could be, if it did the exact same thing, you could be looking at a $9.53 Verge. I mean, that's what I wouldn't get your hopes up of $100 Verge, but I think that would be the best case scenario. From a standpoint, I mean, 3,000% is murderous on people. I mean, that is just killer. I mean, 3,000%, what somebody would do for that in their portfolio, you got 5 Gs in it, boom, you're banking. So, 3,000% gain from the high, if it did the exact same thing, would make it a $9.53 Verge. I just wanted you to see that is a possibility in the coming days. You just never know with these coins. So, everything's a possibility. You can't take anything out. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do TRX if I can find it in my list. I thought I had it in here. There it is. Because I know we got a lot of Verge fans and we got a lot of TRX fans. As you can see, Verge is at 4 cents. It really has just been consolidating, kind of basing out. MACD is still above. Let's see, the high. It's bullish to bearish. It's bearish as far as the daily ATR goes. It needs to get above this this 4 to 5 cent range really to be bullish again. It is over this downtrend line, which is a good sign. There is some volume right here. There's a lot with this TRX. So in my opinion, it is just consolidating. I believe it's found bottom. There's no real pattern other than just consolidation and chop. Some could say it's a bear flag ready to break down. If I go like that, you can kind of see the bear flag. I don't think it'll break down lower, but it could come back and retest the breakout of under a penny. I do hold some just as a speculative play, just like Verge, and I would like to see it get above 5 cents for higher. The high of Tron was, let's see, 30. It actually was higher than Verge. It was 35 cents. And then, you see the sell tail right here. Just a huge spike tail. It has been kind of bullish consolidation. I do see a lot more buys than sells, so we are just consolidating, in my opinion. If it could get over that 5 cents, then we could come test these levels of the 10 cents level. So that could be in the coming days. There's, I don't, you know, I know the CEO is always on there mentioning some kind of news, so I don't really know if it's what it's going to take to get it popping again. If Bitcoin starts to pop, obviously it's going to pop. It followed suit, as you can see these last few days, these daily candles. It kind of followed suit with Bitcoin. It was down here at 3 cents, went as high as 4 to 4.5 cents. So it definitely needs to break this 4.5 and then get to the 5, establish over this 5 level, which it tested once, twice, 3 times. It couldn't do it on the third time. Like I say, it's usually a third time, so it broke down. So if it can't do it on the third time, it breaks down, and that's what it did. And we're just kind of chopping in this low term channel. So it definitely needs to get over that 4.5 cent level, get over the 5 cent level, and then it can work its way up to 10 cents and eventually maybe shoot a spike up to test the old highs. But 10 cents, and then let's see, the 50% Fibonacci retracement is at about 18 cents to 20 cents if my levels are correct. So look for that, in the coming days. There's nothing exciting about Tron as of right now. I do hold some, and everything I've talked about is not financial advice. Blah, 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 just like everybody has to say. So you know the drill. I'm not your financial person. I'm just kind of showing you the charts and showing you levels that impact these coins. So that's going to be it for today. It is Monday. It's 10:30. I think we kind of got a good perspective of where things are headed in the coming days. So I just think overall it's just a slight pullback for the next couple days and some chop, and then we'll see another move higher, possibly a bigger move higher, a little squeeze to pull out the shorts in all Bitcoin and all altcoins, and from there we could get higher. So look for those in the coming days, and if you like this, please like, subscribe. I'm trying to build up my subscribers as I only got 10. I know I've only been doing this for so long, but my technical analysis is on point. You'll definitely find these levels on point. So check them out and give me a shout out if you have anything that I missed or you see. If you want to call me out on something, go for it. Give me some feedback. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next video.